Have you ever imagined your character suddenly turning to the audience and reveal a secret no one else in the story will ever hear? When that happens, something extraordinary occurs. The boundary between the fictional world and the real one disappears. That's the power of breaking the fourth wall. Hi writer, I'm Andrea from bibisco, the novel writing software downloaded by more than 200,000 writers all over the world to plan, organize and develop their stories. And today we are exploring one of the boldest and most fascinating narrative techniques ever invented: breaking the fourth wall. By the end of this video, you'll understand what it really means, why it works so well, how it changes your relationship with the reader, and how you can use it to create a story that feels fresh, daring, and emotionally engaging. So let's dive in. The idea of a fourth wall comes from theater. Imagine the actors standing inside a room with 3 physical walls and one invisible wall facing the audience. As long as the wall stands, the actors pretend the audience isn't there. They behave as if we are secretly watching them live their lives. But the moment a character looks straight at us and speaks, that invisible wall shatters. Suddenly, the audience is no longer a silent observer. We become active participants, and the character, in a way, steps out of the story to meet us. Sometimes it's a glance, sometimes it's a whispered aside, sometimes it's a character stopping the story entirely to comment on what's happening. And sometimes, especially in modern fiction, the whole narrative becomes a playful dance between fiction and awareness. Whatever form it takes, the effect is unmistakable. The reader feels personally addressed, involved, even implicated. When a character speaks directly to the audience, the relationship between storyteller and reader changes. It becomes intimate. Suddenly, we are not just reading about someone. We are being trusted with their thoughts, their doubts, maybe even their secrets. This technique also allows writers to guide the reader in unexpected ways. A character might hint at what's coming, tease a twist, or reveal something that the other characters in the story will never know. Sometimes fourth wall breaks create humor, because the character comments on cliches or jokes about the structure of the story itself. Other times they create tension, because now the audience holds privileged information. Above all, fourth wall breaking puts the reader closer. Instead of watching the story from the outside, they feel like they are sitting next to the character, sharing a private moment. And since we are talking about characters who suddenly turn to the audience, well, let me do exactly that. If you are enjoying this video, this is the perfect moment to hit like and subscribe to the channel. It helps more writers discover these insights, and it lets me keep talking directly to you. When we talk about breaking the fourth wall, we are not talking about a single technique. Storytellers have developed many different ways to reach through the page and make the audience feel seen. Let's take a look at the most important ones. One of the most classic methods is direct address. This is when a character simply turns to the audience and speaks as if they were in the same room. It could be a joke, a confession, a warning, or just a quick comment on what's happening. It's simple, and yet it's incredibly effective, because the barrier between fiction and reality disappears in an instant. Another approach is more playful and meta. Here, characters comment on the plot, tease storytelling cliches, complain about authors' decisions, or even realize they are inside a book. These moments can be witty, surprising, and self-aware, like the story giving the reader a playful wink, and they invite the audience to share in the joke. Sometimes the fourth wall is broken not by what a character says, but by how the story is built. You might see footnotes, unexpected commentary from fictional editors, or parallel narrators interrupting each other. The structure itself becomes interactive. It feels as the book is performing for the reader, reshaping itself in real time to pull them deeper into the narrative. There are also moments where the wall cracks in a more emotional, psychological way. A narrator might suddenly drop the mask and speak with a level of honesty or vulnerability that clearly isn't meant for the other characters. Even without saying the tone shifts. You feel that the narrator is sharing something directly with you, and that intimacy creates a soft but powerful break. Sometimes the break isn't in what the narrator reveals, but in what they refuse to reveal. A line like, "I know what really happened, but I'm not ready to tell you," instantly turns the reader into a confidant. This omission isn't addressed to anyone in the story, it's addressed to the audience, and suddenly you are a part of a private negotiation. A narrator might also ask the reader a direct question. What would you have done? Can you believe this? These questions have no place inside the fictional world. They reach outward, inviting the reader into the scene, transforming them from observers into participants. All of these techniques share one essential idea. Storytelling isn't just something they consume, it's something they participate in. But of course, not everyone agrees on whether breaking the wall is a good idea. Like any strong narrative technique, it brings a bit of controversy with it. Some critics argue that when a character suddenly turns to the reader, it disrupts the spell of the story. Instead of being immersed in the fictional world, the audience is reminded that everything is constructed, that the story is, in fact, a story. For certain genres that depend heavily on atmosphere or emotional immersion, this can be a real concern. Others believe the exact opposite. They argue that breaking the wall doesn't break immersion, it creates a different kind of immersion, a more playful, self-aware and engaging one. It challenges the audience's expectations and invites them into a deeper reflection about the narrative itself. In some genres, especially satire, metafiction or postmodern storytelling, this technique is not just appropriate but essential. In the end, its effectiveness depends entirely on the storyteller's intention and craft. Breaking the fourth wall works only when you truly understand who your characters are, because when a character turns to the audience, even for a single sentence, they reveal something incredibly intimate: their voice, their attitude, their worldview, and sometimes even their flaws. If that character isn't fully developed, if their motivation, contradiction, and inner life aren't clear, then the fourth wall break feels empty. It becomes a gimmick instead of a meaningful moment. And this is exactly where bibisco makes a big difference. Bibisco's character development tools help you dig into your characters long before they ever speak to the audience. Through detailed interviews, psychological profiles, backstory questions, and relationship mapping, you start uncovering what truly defines them, what they desire, what they fear, what they hide, and how they see themselves inside the story. When you know your characters at this level, their voice becomes unmistakable. So when they turn to the reader, they sound authentic. Their comments feels natural, not forced, and the moment they break the wall becomes an extension of who they already are, rather than a jump outside the narrative. In short, bibisco gives you the clarity you need behind the scenes. So when your characters step outside the scene, they do it with confidence, purpose, and a strong, believable voice. Okay, that's all for today. Breaking the fourth wall is a bold, playful technique, and now you have everything you need to experiment with it in your own stories. And if you want help planning your narrative perspectives and keeping every part of your novel organized, download bibisco using the link in the description. Happy writing and see you in the next video. Bye bye!